And Roman, you are on.
Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
Good evening.
I am sporting my Dallas Cowboy cup today and my Dallas Cowboy shirt just to annoy Manny and all those people that I rooted for the Rams last night. And who I'm drinking my pink lemonade. Let me share. I don't know if Veronica. We have Veronica Deaton. Mila Veronica Deaton. She goes by Veronica. How are you doing, Veronica?
I am doing excellent. Thank you so much.
Veronica is, and I'm looking down right now because I need to share the video on my Facebook thingy. I'm not as high tech as some other people. Veronica is running for Cameron County District Clerk, not to be confused with Cameron County County Clerk. Those of us, I'm familiar with it, but not everybody is. What is the difference between a district clerk and a county clerk? Since hey, what is the difference between the two positions, so people know?
Sure. Basically, the district clerk is the clerk of the district courts. Now, the county clerk, they have a lot more administrative responsibilities. The county clerk actually supports the county courts. And not only that, but they also handle birth, death, a lot of the administrative side, deed records, official records, all of that. And basically the district clerk is, I guess if you could say, they're the clerk of the district courts.
Hey, Claudia.
Just to keep it simple.
Yeah, very, very simple. And I don't personally know you, Veronica. This is the first time I'm interacting with you.
Correct.
Yeah, so we don't. So a lot of these questions may be like, "Who are you?" It's like, because I'm a voter just like everybody else in Cameron County that's registered to vote. And by the way, the last day to register to vote is October 5th. If you plan on voting for vote in this general election in November, and if you're like 17 and 10 months old. You can register to vote right now as long as you're going to be 18 on the day of the election. Get registered to vote and exercise your right to vote. And one of the things that the I as a voter like to know is, who are you? Why are you running? Those generic questions and open-ended questions that you can to say, because what I have been able to find out about you is that you worked past tense. In the county clerk's office for 11 years. Is that about right? Or
yes.
You still
yes. I'm still employed there. Yes.
Okay. What do you do at the county clerk's office?
I actually supervise a department there.
Awesome. Yeah. So you've worked there. What made you work in the county clerk's office?
Well, basically, to be honest with you, it was kind of a new experience for me. I actually come from the technology field. So I lived in different places throughout the US and the East Coast, and then ended up relocating back to the Valley. And sorry, I'm here.
It's okay. No worries.
So basically, once I relocated here, there wasn't, I have to say, I started looking for a job and whatnot, and that opportunity came about. And so I took it. And really, it has been a great experience. I can tell you that. Why is that? Because I have actually served so many members of this community, working at the courthouse. And that's really where I'm really focused in, at the judicial end of things within the county clerk's office. It really has been a great experience, and I've decided to stay. There's been other opportunities, but really serving the public and serving those folks that, need to be serviced. Whether it's within a lawsuit or whatnot. So I kind of really enjoy that type of atmosphere, if you can say that.
Yeah. And but you're originally from the Valley. Where'd you go to school?
I am.
Okay. You went to Brownsville? You're from Brownsville originally?
Yes, I am. Yes.
What school did you go to? What rivalry did you have? What did you do in high school?
No, I did not have any rivalries. I went to Hannah High School.
So Hannah has no rivals. Ooh, I think you're like with Frankie Oliva. Frankie probably doesn't think he has any rivals whatsoever.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Hannah, what did you do in high school? What made you, because you said you were in technology, there's something must have happened in high school that made you want to go into technology.
Actually, I mean, I've really kind of been interested in communications. So, I mean, in high school, really, I was just kind of just a regular student, did my thing, studied, went on, I graduated. And so I went on from there. So the communications was something that I was interested in. And I actually ended up working for a lot of the telecom companies. And then when the .com industry really hit, I went off and worked, in the .com industry as well. So, that's just something that I enjoy.
So so when you started working at the county clerk's office in these 11 years, you have supervisor experience, you have administrative experience, management experience, which is something that's highly important, I would assume, in a district clerk's office. We've had, for many, many years, we had Aurora Delgado as the district clerk, if I'm not mistaken. And then we had Eric Garza for a little while, then he resigned to run for sheriff. And then we have an interim, Ms. Ortiz. So at what point did you decide I want to run for district clerk, and what was your reasoning for running for district clerk?
Sure. Actually, I've been thinking of running for office probably already. It's been about 10 years or so. Wow. So it's been a while. So it was a goal that I set for myself. And I believe that this is the perfect timing because of the situation and the way things happen. And as far as the district clerk, why the district clerk? Because I have that experience. We have trained at the county clerk's office and the district clerk's office. We train pretty much, it's very similar as far as the information and the training is concerned. There's just different jurisdictional levels as to what is handled, within, but the administrative side, as far as how to process something, it's very similar, so basically I do have the experience and I do have the knowledge in the office in order to take on that responsibility. So that's why, when all this occurred, I thought, this is the time. So I moved forward and made that decision.
Cool. And then you decided to run. We were talking before the pregame, the set it up. We were like Chris Cuomo telling you what to say,
Oh,
like,
no.
No, we were just telling you how it works with the show.
Yeah, correct.
But you decided to run as a Republican, and Republicans don't have a really great history of winning in Cameron County, countywide. We've only had 2 people win countywide. One of them I'm not going to mention, and the other is, the first one that did it. Really, since the beginning of Cameron County, other than E.J. Davis was back in Reconstruction, was Tony Garza being the first one to win countywide. So running countywide has not been easy. There have been numerous candidates that have tried to run either for sheriff or for county or whatever to run countywide. For judge, even we've had good district judge candidates run in our county. What made you run as a Republican?
Okay, I am a conservative, and I always have been. And as far as the Republican is concerned, or the Republican Party or whatnot, I mean, I've been a Republican since I was 17 years old. So the important thing here is the ideology and the values, really. And so they kind of are close to my values and ideology. So that's why I have to, that's why that was my choice.
So it wasn't like some people will run as a Republican because they're like, I'm not going to have a primary opponent. I want to be on the ballot in November. We had that happen with one county judge candidate who had lost as Democrat, ran against an incumbent Democrat, lost, and decided, I'm going to run as a Republican in 4 years, and did, and was able to run in November and be able to win. So this was not completely strategic. So you really did this because you believe in the ideology and you wanted to run as a Republican.
Correct. This has, I cannot, we cannot be wishy-washy. We have to, now I can understand that perhaps people may start with an ideology and then something within their life and they change, their point of view or whatnot. That's understandable. I mean, that's perfectly understandable. So it vice versa. But I pretty much do stand firm in the things that I in the things that I value and that I believe. So no, it had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and the office of the district clerk really isn't an ideological position.
Yeah.
There's a lot of for those of you who are watching and may not be familiar, Texas is one of these states, and historically we believed in we don't trust government. It's been like that since the 1845 Constitution when we became a state, and it's just like that in the 1876 Constitution that we fall under. And so we have a long form ballot where we vote for everybody, anybody, and everybody. That's what Texans have believed, and that's why we have it. So, but the district clerk position really isn't an ideological position. So whether you're conservative, moderate, liberal, really doesn't matter. If you're Republican, that doesn't matter. Or do you agree with that? Or do you believe running, you want people to vote for you as a person, not necessarily because you're a Republican, because you're a conservative?
Oh, I mean, yeah, no. Basically, you say that the office is not one of ideology. Well, I think it's important. I think it's important for voters to know the ideology of or the makeup of the person that is running for office, and whether or not that person is going to be able to make wise decisions as far as how to anything. I mean, from the simplest thing or from the most difficult things like handling the budget. Right. So if you have someone that is just not conservative, let's just say, now you don't want someone neither that is not willing to spend a dime either. Right. So you want someone that is going to be able to make those wise decisions. That's why it's important for voters to be informed as to the person. Now, at the local level, it is very important. I always say when I speak to people, it is important at your local level. Why is that? Because when you visit those offices, when you visit with a judge, and or when you visit whether the county clerk's or the district clerk's office or just any office that belongs to an elected official, I mean, you want to make sure that the people that are there are actually there to serve the public and that are actually there to care for the resources that really belong to the taxpayer, to all of us, and wisely spend the money that is entrusted, and empower those employees to actually perform their duties.
I have a little bit of a problem. I think you're back. Yeah, we can hear you. You just became like Mitch Hedges.
Up there.
There you go. Much better.
That's not the audio. It's your.
My
No,
hair.
okay, no. No.
You're back now. You're back now.
It was just that you froze for a second there and you went like crazy. It could.
Okay.
Sometimes. No big deal.
It's
Sorry,
just-
keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to make sure that we heard you.
Okay. Now where was I? No, like I was saying, you mentioned it's not an ideological position, but in reality, I mean, you do have to know the person that is taking that office in order for you to make a wise decision as to who is to be elected for that position. I mean, what does that person actually think like you? And okay, and so be it. Then vote towards that ideology, right? And so, like I was saying, it's important. It doesn't matter whether it's an administrative position or a judge position or someone that is going to be actually making laws. It's very important for the voters to actually know who those people are and what they're made out of and what they think, because then we get some stuff that happens or some crazy laws passed, and then we don't understand what happened. So
one of the things that I find in your race is your Democrat opponent is and this isn't an opportunity to go negative, but I don't mind going negative because this is my personal opinion. I don't necessarily trust your opponent on a Democrat side. I'd like for her to come on the show. If you're listening, Laura, you're more than welcome to come on the show and defend yourself. Just kidding. I'm not a huge fan of her as a BISD trustee. That's her position. She's come from that particular background. I don't like what she's done at BISD. So people that may not want to vote for her are like, oh, so what is it about you that makes you better necessarily than your opponent on the Democrat side that you think, hey, you should vote for me because I'm better?
Sure. Basically, you have two choices, right? This year, and can you hear me?
Yeah. Totally.
Okay. This year, actually, you actually have a choice in that race. Typically, you see basically the primaries are over, and that's it. That is, you don't see many races with opponents on the other side. This time it's different. And when we talk about, what makes the difference, or like I have in my slogan, the best choice for Cameron County, and it's strictly based on experience and knowledge in the office. So, I mean, I'm not here to speak ill about her. Of course not, and I would never do it. But what I can tell you is that I have the experience over 10 years of straight training, day in and day out. Not only, like I said, we work very closely as far as training is concerned. There is an association, the County and District Clerks Association of Texas, which all of the deputies within those two offices are part of, and we receive training. I mean, both offices do. I mean, this is a constant thing. So over 10 years of experience, knowledge, understanding the court system, the laws that actually govern the responsibilities of the clerkship, that's what makes the difference.
Manny had a question for you. Manny?
Sure.
Yeah, so obviously, listening to all of your experience there, obviously you've been there for a while. You must know some things are not working right. Some things could be improved. What changes would you make to, once you're in there, what kind of changes would you make that would improve the clerk's
Sure.
office?
I mean, really, we're always looking to improve. And I believe any official in any capacity, I mean, once they go into their office, that's what they're looking for, to improve what's already there. And that's really what I would do, or what I am looking to do. But first we have to analyze what areas need improvement, because if some things are working, of course, then there's no need. But really, what I would like to do is just open, provide more access to those records that are there available, those records that are available to the public, make it more accessible for them, and also perhaps increase in technology and the way things are processed or done, and perhaps make it more efficient, not only for employees, but also for attorneys. So basically, I mean, we go back to technology and improving processes and procedures.
Sorry.
That's good.
No problem.
No, I had a phone call right now from, I think somebody wants to join us right now, so I was letting them know. Yay. The more the merrier. Did you have another question, Manny?
I just wonder, I mean, you kind of hit on it earlier. You
Sure.
said you felt that the time was right now, but why now? Why are you running? If there's some certain specific things that you can point to, why are you running? Did you decide right now?
Right now, it's what I mentioned. Actually, this is something that's been going on for 10 years. And I can tell you, I mean, a goal that I set for myself, but it wasn't actually until last year. And I can tell you that a year ago in July, I guess from July last year, I was having this conversation, and I was already ready. And we were looking at this conversation with my family, and, having a more serious conversation. And we were looking at the different areas, perhaps different races and whatnot. And then this came about. So to me, this is the opportunity. Why? Because it's the clerk's office, and this is where I have the experience. Yes, I have leadership experience, managerial. I could easily, not easily, but I could have easily chosen, and I was looking, at different options, but another option would have been of a justice of the peace, so it's not, it is just something that was there, and the opportunity came about, and it was just the perfect fit.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in, making certain decisions are easier when it feels right, when things feel right.
Well, and I have to say, I am a Christian, and I am a strong believer. So all of this was in the hands of God. And so the way this all kind of rolled out, and then now here I am. Because if it wasn't, I mean, then it wouldn't have been. Whether now victory or not, it's still in his hands. We don't know until after November 3rd. So
one of the things that benefits we know that the Democratic Party is the big all and all here in Cameron County in the Valley, for better or for worse. And there are other candidates that are running under the Republican ticket, whether it's John Chambers, Chuck V, Norman Esquivel. They're running for different positions. It's been I have found in the many years that I've been involved in politics that the Democrats do a much better job of working together in a cohesive bunch to be able to, elect us at the Palanca straight ticket, vote Democrat, don't vote Republican. But for some reason, Republicans candidates tend to work separately for whatever reason. You'll have one candidate, no, I can't really work together because I have Democrats that are supporting me. And if I work with you, it's not going to work out. And so you're kind of off on your own. And I feel, that's not necessarily a good thing. How are you working with the other Republicans to try to maybe have some sort of united front, or are you not working with the other Republican candidates?
Yes, I mean, we all pretty much see each other. We talk to each other. Chuck V and I actually, sometimes he has this big truck and he put my posters on there, and so we'll ride around that area of the valley and whatnot. So he's really been supportive, and we help each other. Dr. Ray Esquivel, Mr. Chambers. So I don't, well, at least me, I don't have any issues. So
one of the unfortunate excuse me, I don't know, I think the lemonade didn't sit very well on my throat. Excuse me. One of the things that with I'll get you a second, one second, Richard. With Mr. Chambers, his campaign campaign manager is working with your opponent. And because your opponent hired that same person in the primary, I assume that they're working together even now. Do you find that difficult to work with him, knowing, hey, your dude is and your potential guru people are working against me? Do you feel there's that you can trust the Chambers campaign in that sense?
Oh no, I don't know as far as who's running what or who's, I have no idea. What I'm saying is, I've spoken to Mr. Chambers, just, how are you, this and that, and just kind of build each other up. But I have no idea in that regard. And I have to say one thing, though, I think each individual has to choose, whoever's going to run their campaign or whoever's going to help them or whoever, they make that choice. Mm-hmm. And I don't think any of us have that ability or opportunity to say, hey, what are you doing? Or, hey, everybody's running their campaign the way they're able to, the way they see it fit. And the people, if there's people supporting you that are from the other side, well, that's okay, because now you've got some kind of bipartisan effort going on. And so you want to see that. You want to see that people are actually voting for the individual, and that really is important, again, especially at the local level. But, I don't know. I just don't, I guess that just doesn't bother me.
Good. No, that's good. I mean, these are just thoughts that I've had, and then I'll continue with my train of thought after I get to Richard. Richard, her hands-on experience should be an asset to the system. She could bring something refreshing to the table or fix up what's on it that needs some adjustment. There you go. Yay. Positive feedback. Running. This is the first year in Texas that we're no longer going to have the Palanca, the straight ticket voting.
Correct.
This is something that here in the Valley, Republicans have wanted. And this is something in the northern part of, the rest of the state, Democrats have wanted, because Republicans just vote straight ticket in the north as much as we Democrats down here vote straight ticket. Do you think this is a positive change and helpful for your campaign and your individual candidacy?
Sure, I think it is, because I think that it puts a little bit more of a burden onto the voter, onto all of us, right? Because, okay, so who is this person? You know, what is, but at the same time, those letters are still going to be there, the D and the R. So, so whether that helps or not, I can't say. Maybe. Because I think it's just going to allow the voter, I hope and pray that they're actually making some wise decisions and not just voting because there's an R or a D in front of that name. So that's my take on that.
Yeah. With this, how can I ask this nicely? The one of the things, as a Republican running countywide, generally speaking, a Republican will get about 30 to 35% of the vote automatically just by having the R by their name in Cameron County, meaning the Democrat gets, unless there's an independent candidate or a libertarian candidate or a Green Party, they're going to get the rest. So in essence, a Republican like yourself would have to fight to get 15 or 16 or 17% of that vote, whether they're independent, whether they're independent-minded Democrats. And that's actually advice that's pretty much across the board. Any Republican will tell you that knows anything. You need to find a way to get that vote.
Correct. Of course.
So what are you doing to get that little 15, that little piece of the pie, so that you can be able
and sure, and it's basically talking to folks that that I know that are hardcore, as you can say, right? Mm-hmm. So talking to those people, and I do actually have some support. So I thank the folks, and what am I doing? That's what I'm doing, So trying to actually running this campaign cleanly. There, I can tell you that there is no one with big pockets behind me. I'm doing this all pretty much on my own. So, you said earlier, why are you running? Well, like I said, this was a decision that I made, not because, I want to have the title, or, I just want to see my name, up there on those walls, or no, it's actually to continue working and continue serving in a capacity where I may be more effective.
John Chambers, I don't know, I'd love to ask him the question how this happened. He got the endorsement of the incumbent sheriff who lost in a Democrat primary to Eric Garza. Have you been able to get any specific endorsements from the Democrat side that you can announce and tell us, hey, they're supporting me, in order to get some of their supporters to come and vote for you, or you're not? Sure. You're not ready to talk about that?
No, I'm actually no, because they're really, I can't say, you
get a lot of quiet.
No, this is very, yes, correct. I think, and I understand that. People make their own decisions, how they make them, but we go back to the same thing. You can endorse someone, and at the end of the day, you'll step into that voting booth and not vote for the person that you say that you're endorsing. I'm just saying, right? Yeah. That happens. So I think, again, I have to go back to the same thing. Are people looking at the candidate, their ethic, their work ethic, what they stand for, what they believe? Does it match their beliefs? And if so, cast the vote, but just make sure you're informed.
Yeah. And, what I mean by quiet support is you'll get somebody, oh yeah, no, I totally support you, but I can't say it out loud because it'll cost me my job, or if I say that, my tia is going to get really upset. So but you have my support, and I hate that game. I'll be honest with you, I hate that game. If you support someone, you say it public.
Correct.
You get that a lot here.
We do.
And it's not just the Democrats. You'll get it from Republicans too, conservatives. They'll say, I'm a conservative. I support John Cornyn, for example. Like, I'm a total conservative, but they vote for every single other Democrat other than John Cornyn because John Cornyn plays the game or for whatever reason. And it happens here, and it troubles me. That's why it's so difficult for Republicans to win, because there have been very many good Republican candidates that I find that have nothing to do with ideology. They're just good people that I think that there would be better people in the office than a Democrat, because unfortunately, you'll get older people people that are just a little bit older than me, not that I'm really young or anything anymore, and say, oh no, the Democrats, they're for the poor people, the Republicanos are for the rich people, and it's just like that's not even what it is anymore.
No, it is not. And I don't believe it never was like that. That's just the wrong kind of picture that has been painted. Aquí estoy. I don't have, I'm not wealthy. I'm just a regular everyday person that goes to work from 8 to 5, comes home. I raised 2 daughters, so I'm just like everyone else pretty much as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, and the reason I bring up BISD earlier is because that seems to be the impetus for a lot of people that are voting. For example, we had Erasmo Castro early in the week. We've had Carlos Elizondo, and we've had Frankie Olivo last night. A lot of their supporters, I believe, generally speaking, will be very open and wanting to vote for you because they don't like your opponent because of what she did at BISD. Like last week, for whatever reason, she just all of a sudden says, and maybe you're not familiar with it because you maybe don't follow BISD politics. I don't follow it as much as Erasmo does. But she put forth this idea of, I want to fire the board attorney who's been on the board for many, many years, never brought up for a last minute thing 2 months before she leaves term, that almost felt like it was pandering. And so that rubs me the wrong way, that you've had all this opportunity to bring this up before. Why are you doing it now? And I feel like she's doing this because she knows that somebody like you is an opponent that can get a lot of those voters that are very unhappy with the way that BISD has been. There's a reason why BISD has a black eye, and it could cause her problems in November. And I know you don't want to get negative. You want to be a positive campaign, but do you believe that this can be an issue that will help you to show people, hey, I'm more experienced. Not only am I more experienced than her, what you know about her as an office holder is not very good. Give me an opportunity, vote for me, because I've worked here. I've worked as a public servant, not elected, but I'm here. Are you willing to use that as to your advantage? And if you are, feel free to use it now.
Sure. I think that everyone, I've heard this from everyone. Now I have 2 daughters. One of them already graduated, and she graduated from BISD system. And I still have another daughter that has, this is her last year in the system. So I know what goes on here and there. I am, to be honest with you, I am not 100% dived into the whole BISD board. It matters to me because my daughters, are there and whatnot. So, and I support the staff and the teachers and the students there and whatnot. Will I be willing to use that? I told this to someone else that was very, very, very much trying to get me to really get, I guess, negative, you can say. But you know what? Everyone is already speaking it. I don't need to speak it. I think the things that occur whenever, if this, let's just say, right, we don't know what's going to happen come November 3rd, but I think all candidates and I think all office holders are able to get into positions and situations that are just very difficult. So the decisions that whether she made or may not have made, I don't know, and that has impacted her race. That's something that I have no control over. And no, I will. I mean, me personally, that's just not me. Everyone is talking about it. It's not something that I need to add on to that. The voter will have to make that decision.
The reason I'm bringing it up now is because half the voter population is in Brownsville and the other half is
correct.
I may not know about what's happening at BISD, and I think it's incumbent on you as the candidate to inform people, or people that support you, say, this is what's going on at BISD. Do you want to bring this into the district clerk's office? And I did say we were going to do, for those of you who are waiting for the rapid fire, hopefully those of you who are waiting, we're going to do it now. We're going to do a little, Manny begged and pleaded for me to do it, not do it at 8 o'clock and do it at 8:15, but he messaged me right now. He said, it's okay, do it now. I think itching for your favorite thing, everybody's favorite thing, into the rapid fire. Unfortunately, it looks like my friend Zach Cantu is not on here. So you won't get to hear the rapid fire. But all you do is you get 2 minutes. Manny does the clock. We get to as many of these questions as possible, and you answer whatever you want to answer. You win nothing if you do well or don't do well. All right. Ready. First question. Favorite Republican precinct chair?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You filed for precinct chair at some point. So. That's
No,
why I asked the question.
Yes, I did, but then you see what happened. Here I am now.
That's okay.
Yeah, I would have to say, oh gosh, that's kind of tough. I've got two, but
okay, we'll answer both of them. It's okay. You know, it's just okay.
Okay, Winnie. It would have to be Winnie.
Okay,
Winnie.
all right. She's a good person.
Winnie and Terry, I guess.
Good job. That's Winifred Marshall and Terry Frady. Yay, you're her favorite people. All right. Better county clerk, Joe Rivera or Sylvia Garza Perez?
Oh my goodness. They both have their qualities.
Yeah.
You know, there is a fondness for Joe Rivera because he hired me. And I worked very many years with him. So he's still, you know, I mean, he was a great boss, I guess I would say.
Okay,
So,
we'll go with Joe Rivera. Just answer as quickly as you can so we can get to as many of these as we can.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No worries. It's okay. It's just like first thought. Which Trump daughter would you rather hang out with, Ivanka or Tiffany?
I think Ivanka.
There you go. Okay. Favorite Cameron County Democrat? Not precinct chair, just the general Democrat.
Oh my goodness.
Joe Rivera. You can just pick him. It's okay. He's
Okay, fine. Okay, Mr. Rivera. Hi.
There you go. Good job. Favorite color, red or blue?
Oh, red.
There you go. And who will win tonight's football game, the Houston Texans or Kansas City Chiefs?
Guess what? I have no idea.
Oh, there you go. Okay. And this is the special Zach Cantu sponsored question. The Zach Cantu special, Zach Cantu from KURV, cake or pie?
Oh my gosh. Totally pie. I love pie.
There you go. Good job. There's your answer, Zach. Where are we at?
Pie.
Yep, we're over.
We're over. Oh, God. Can I just ask this one question? Because I wanted to ask this question.
Yeah.
Flintstones or the Jetsons?
Oh, no. Flintstones. Sorry.
Okay, no big deal. Flintstones and Jetsons. These are rapid fire questions. You know, the 2 minute rapid fire questions sponsored by the Second Amendment. Hey, Ray. What's up, Ray?
Hi.
Feel free to ask any question, bro. Royal. All right. Back to the politics. Now we're done with that. Yeah. Rapid fire is just something to have fun with.
Zach likes pie.
Zach likes pie. There you go. So you gave the answer. Zach, have Veronica on your show. You know, try to get her on your show at 956 or have Seth.
Yes, please.
You know.
Oh, let me just a really quick to Zach, going back. Actually, I was just talking to my daughter yesterday because she's a baker, my youngest daughter. And so I was telling her, you know, we need to start trying out new pie crusts. So I need you to start. And that was just like last night. So we're working on that. So I don't know. That was a good question.
We'll ask them every night, you know, for the Zach Cantu sponsored question. He's not paying us to do his name, but maybe he should, you know. Definitely pie. See, you know, I've been craving banana cream pie for about 7 years now. I can't find it. Nobody makes it.
No, I know that's the thing. And that's what we've been talking about, you know, because it's like all the time. And I say, gosh, you know, we need to do something about that. So anyways.
I haven't had it for 7 years. My daughter was going to make it. She's like, I'll make it for you, Dad, because she likes to cook too and bake and whatever. Yet to make it. And I'm very frustrated because I really want that pie. And I don't even know why. I mean, it's an actual craving. Again, I'm not even pregnant or anything. Definitely pie. So I like pie. With the fun, fundraiser pie. You know what? That's a good idea, right? If maybe do a fundraiser with pies and selling pies and make some extra money, as opposed to Erasmo has his cookies, you have your pies, and you can cut them up, and there you go. Anyway, if you have a question, Ray, feel free to ask any questions. Zach, you do too. Running for district clerk, and not just for running for district clerk, but being a district clerk. One of the things that affects us generally speaking, and one thing we have to interact with the district clerk is jury duty.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on jury duty, and how do you make it as painless as possible for someone who is, selected as a juror?
Yeah, and the thing is that all of that is set up. I mean, you got to follow the law, so you got to do it. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to taking a look at the process that's established, right, without breaking the law of how jury has to be conducted, and see where we can actually improve that. Because yes, right now with the pandemic and everything that's going on, well, us folks at the courthouse, we've kind of had a little bit of a rest, because we know that every week, there comes the jury time where the courtroom is jam-packed, and, you have folks in line and going back and forth. So, those are areas, I think, of opportunity that anyone can take a look and see, how can we improve that? How can we make that a little easier? But yes, that is one area that definitely is on my mind. And I really don't want to go more into detail as far as that's concerned.
It's okay, no worries. Yeah. Well, like Diego Alonso, who ran for district clerk on the Democrat side, lost to Laura, is no longer at the district clerk's office. He was in charge of the jury duty. He just left maybe a couple of months ago, not even. So if you get into office, you're going to have to probably deal with somebody who's a newbie in charge of that department, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on the jury duty thing? And hopefully, if you do win, you get in and make things easier. The district clerk also does things with regards to passports. Will you continue that? Do you want to continue?
Yes. Yes, of course, because you're kind of, I couldn't get that last.
Oh, how are you? Sorry. Sorry, I went backwards. Sometimes I get a little bit I start like swinging and it goes crazy. Yeah. What are you going to do? Are you going to continue these passport fairs? How do you plan on increasing or decreasing? Or what do you want to do? What is up with?
No, definitely, we want to actually continue the process of processing passports and offering that to the community. So, I mean, that's definitely you cannot, get rid of that. So,
Ray has a question. What's your plan to establish a better relationship with the citizens of Cameron County? That's a good question, Ray.
Correct, and we go back to the whole having those doors open, actually going out there and speaking to the people that are coming in the office, reaching out to the community in different ways, just like Eric did with the passport fairs and whatnot. There's other ideas. There's a lot of ideas that come to my mind. I really don't want to share that. But really it's making the connection with the people of Cameron County, making those relationships. So, having that door open where the clerk is actually available. If somebody needs to there's people, that they come and they say, I want to speak to a manager, or I want to speak to the clerk.
And you want to be able to do that, yeah.
Yes, correct.
Richard, we cannot support someone whose bad deeds outnumber their good merit. Mrs. Deaton is presenting ways to upgrade matters concerning the office she is running for, while her opponent is bringing ideas or principles from her current public service position she holds. No bueno. Eric, as a district clerk, had a real presence at citizenship ceremonies. Do you plan on continuing that presence of the district clerk's office there, when they get sworn in? Because not only do they, one of the things they wanted to do is register to vote immediately, and also maybe get their passports and, situations that they're there to do that.
Oh my goodness, that is actually such an honorable opportunity to actually see people go through the whole citizenship process. I've helped several people, go through that, and folks have actually live streamed because I couldn't be there, and sometimes I was there, but but they've live streamed their whole ceremony, and to be able to be a part of that or to be able to support that, it's really humbling. But yes, completely, because that is an opportunity to provide those services and to get to know and make that connection with citizens of the county. So
Well,
yeah, he had a good idea there.
and I've seen him at these citizenship swearing-in ceremonies.
Mhm.
So, it's always a good idea. There, there was a lot of a freshness approach to what Eric did at the district clerk's office, which I think benefited him when he ran for the sheriff's position. Going back to BISD, because it sort of ties in. BISD is, by some people, and I heard it just today when I told some friends that you were going to come on the show, and they said, we like Veronica. We like the fact that she didn't use a smaller position to step up and use BISD as a stepping stone, because you want somebody in that position who really cares and wants to do better by the students. Would you agree with that statement that the idea of the district clerk's office shouldn't necessarily be a stepping stone for something higher office? It's something that you love and you want to help the citizens of the county.
Definitely. Look, let's actually, I'll look back, and we keep bringing Mr. Rivera. I'm so sorry, Mr. Rivera, but just looking back at, he held office. He was, for a very long time. He was
the longest serving.
Yes, the longest service county clerk.
Ever.
Yes, and he loved his job. He was there. He saw people. He had that connection with the folks of Cameron County. And so we can use that example. He could have, and I know that he ran for county judge, the last time, but I really believe that he really enjoyed doing his job at the clerk's office. Otherwise, why would have he stayed there, for so long? At least that's my thought, because I saw him, work the way he did, and I saw him. And he allowed his staff to actually be involved with his office, and he trusted his staff. So I use him because I think that's a good example. When we look, maybe you mentioned stepping stones. I think you can tell. I think you can tell when an individual actually is just kind of seeking that, because they're really not paying much attention to the office. They're really not caring for the staff, for the resources, for the well-being of the community, actually, because when you allow your office to deteriorate or affect it in a way, you're in essence not only affecting your office, but you're actually affecting the service of those who you're serving. So I just use Mr. Rivera as an example because he was in office for so long. So and I just didn't see that with him. But there are other peoples out there, and I think that we can tell when things are just a stepping stone, because the care and the desire to perform within that, they're just caring about, okay, what's the next? Where am I going next?
Yeah.
And that's okay. We can have goals. That's okay. But the thing is, ethically, you have a responsibility where you are to actually perform and to actually do your duty 100%. And I have to say that this brings to my mind this whole thing of multitasking, right? This word of multitasking. I am sorry, but there is no such thing. There is no way that you can do two things 100% at the same time. In order for you to focus on one thing, you got to do it. And if you want to do it right, and you've got to do it 100%, then you've got to focus on it wholeheartedly. But if you're doing two things, there's no way you're going to be able to perform 100% on both things. You have to pause, and you're going back and forth. So I don't know. That's just something I wanted to throw out there.
Man, do you have any question you want to add?
I just wanted to kind of wind down with who is Veronica? What does Veronica do on the weekend when you got no work, when you just want to do something to relax, or what is it you do to, whether it's a hobby or just on your off time?
Yes. Well, really is actually, I spend a lot of time with my children. So whether we will travel, go on short drives, short distance travel, or we'll go down to the beach, have dinner. We bake. There was a time I was baking a lot of cupcakes, so I would gift those, or then I would do actually cupcake orders. I really enjoyed that, and just things like that. Actually, so it's just very simple. So people say, "Where do you want to go eat?" Or people invite me to go have dinner or something, friends, or and I'm just not much for that. So I don't know. You tell me where, because I have no clue.
And now coronavirus, it's hard to go out anyway. So
yeah, this is quite a time actually to be running for office. It's really amazing. I mean, wow.
I've had conversations over the last few months about coronavirus and how it's affecting not just kids and in school, but how it's affecting races, and this election being so important. You're not, even Frankie was mentioning last night, right, Manny, that you're not able to do the block walking that you normally would be able to do. You're not able to do the pachangas that you normally would be able to do. Everybody and their dog has an event at Cobbleheads. You're not able to give money to Joe Kenny, our friend Joe Kenny, or Cobbleheads, to do an event there. So what exactly do you feel that, not to give advice to other candidates or definitely give advice to your opponent, but what do you think that you have to do as a candidate in order to get people enthusiastic about voting for you?
Sure. And it goes back to actually right now, because of the whole situation. I mean, being exposed as much as possible to the message that I'm actually trying to hand off to voters, being on shows like yours. I was on the Erasmo Castro show. I've reached out to actually the church. I've visited a couple of ministries. Yesterday I was on a podcast on a Christian network. There's folks reaching out. Actually, to me, that's very important. And I think that it allows for people to comfortably actually listen to the candidate and be able to make a decision. Because look, I'm right here. I'm talking to you straight up with questions that are not pre-programmed. I mean, you're asking me these random questions.
Yeah.
And that's the way it has been. Yesterday's podcast, it was the same. And that's kind of what I'm used to, and so those are the things, talking to people over the phone, yes, doing some visiting, and yes, also doing some knocking, not face to face, but just kind of dropping some things off, like, hey, here's my card, and that kind of thing. So it's definitely also the drive-by, right, with a sign and that kind of thing. We've definitely done that. So it's a very different environment, and only God knows, only God knows. And so we got to just go through this, and that's okay. So.
And I don't envy any candidate right now if you do not have a social media presence. So do you mind sharing with us? Do you have a website? Do you have a Facebook page, Twitter page?
I do have a Facebook page, and it's Vote Mirla Veronica Deaton.
Okay, we'll make sure we share it on Manny. We can share it either on the screen and also on our comments. No website, no Twitter account, no other social.
I don't have a website. No, that's what I have right now.
Honestly,
it's too much if I go on Twitter, and then if I go, I'm sorry. I spend a lot of time there, like answering messages and all kinds. I cannot just imagine. So
yeah,
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, because if you don't have a social media presence, it's very, very difficult to get your message out.
Yeah, correct.
My advice is, and I'll give this advice to anybody, you need to make sure that you're out there. And it's not, it used to be, you need to be out there and do debates, and you need to be out there knocking on doors. But you really can't do the knocking on the door. You can do debates if they're online or whatnot.
Yeah.
But to be out there is social media as much as possible. Sending out emails, mass emails. If you have a text system where you can send text messages to people, home banking.
And there's the radio. There's a couple of other things that are, God willing, coming down. So
KRV's they're a good place to do your radio stuff and whatnot. So anyway, is there anything I learned this from my friend Kim Wyatt, who used to be the executive main news director at Channel 4. So I have to ask this question. So this is the Kim Wyatt question. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you want to say and want to talk about? Feel free to tell us now.
Okay. So I have to, and I think this goes back to the message. Again, it's not about voting. I think right now, as I mentioned, in the local level, it's really not voting party, but we've got to look at the individual that is willing to take on that office and that is actually on the ballot. Please, I ask you, I ask you, for every voter out there, to vote wisely, to get to know your candidates in the races that you are going to be taking part of. Get to know them, know what they stand for, know what their ideology is, because that is important. Believe it or not, that is important. And so that's what I ask the voters. And those voters that I engage with people that I engage with, that's my message to them. I have the experience over 10 years, not only experience, but also knowledge and the will to actually perform the job and to be there. I'm not saying maybe like another Joe Rivera, so many years, I don't know, but to actually, be proud of that office and take on that responsibility. So I ask for your support, for everybody out there. And if you like what you hear, I ask for your support. And I truly appreciate this time that you guys have granted me.
Back on, feel free to come back on. Oh, sorry, I interrupted. Yeah.
No. Y otra cosa también hablo español, porque a veces las personas me dicen, no sé, ¿hablas español o verdad? Pero sí lo hablo. Y puedo hacer esa conexión con las personas del condado de Cameron, porque tenemos una población bilingüe y es importante también poder hablar en ese idioma y poderse comunicar. So, entonces les agradezco este tiempo. I truly appreciate it. So it's been fun.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Again, open invitation to you, and hopefully, I know that we'd mentioned the idea of having Chuck on at one point. All y'all, I'd be you, Norman, Chuck, all y'all at the same time. That'd be great. I'd love to do. I'd like to give them an opportunity to come on. I know I failed to call Norman this weekend, but I'm hopefully have Norman next week.
Good.
I appreciate you coming on.
Thank
best of luck to you, and we'll be doing good. Thanks, guys, for watching the show. It's a little bit less than an hour. It's a little tough on. We get a lot of views, not necessarily live, especially we have a football game. I completely forgot it was tonight. But we get a lot of views after the fact, and so feel free to share this video to your
I will.
pages and stuff, because they're good opportunities to get your message across. Thanks, Veronica. Thanks, Manny, for joining.
Thank you.
Oh, wait.
Real quick.
I had a question real quick. Are you planning on establishing a greet and meet sometime soon?
Well, I would love to. The thing is that with the current situation, I don't even know that that's a good idea. Believe me. I mean, I've had those plans. I think all the candidates have those plans. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, but I truly am looking into that. It's just that, the advice is not to do it. So I'm sorry, Ray, but give me a call and we'll chat.
Yeah, you can always do like a mass meet and greet Zoom thing. Maybe not necessarily Zoom. There's other opportunities to do that, so people can meet up with you. I recommend it if you can. Ray, I think, wants to meet you, so that'd be a good thing. So, all right. God bless you, everybody. God bless
you. God bless everyone. Thank you.
Good night.